Our next guest is making his return to the UFC Octagon against Alex Garcia at UFC 189. And after a break from MMA, building AKA Thailand from the ground up, he is going to be back exciting fans around the world and putting on the contest that we're excited to watch. He's a contestant from the first ever Tough and a UFC veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to welcome Mike Quick Swick back to Submission Radio. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's really good to have you back on the show. Obviously, we met you in Sydney, so it's really great to have you on. Now, Mike, it feels like it wasn't that long ago since you last fought Matt Brown, but that was back in December 8th of 2012. Now we're in 2015. I guess the big question is, did you miss fighting during your time away from the sport?
Yeah, I definitely missed it. The two fights I had on Fox were kind of a turning point with my health and stuff, where I did think it was over, so I'd already been pursuing a gym in Thailand. I've already been here trying to build it. But after those two fights where I tried to make myself ready and tried to make myself good to go and convince myself, it was kind of a vital point in my career where it was time to kind of let go and understand that my health isn't going to get better at that stage, and I just need to focus on building a gym and training fighters and doing what I can do. And then just during the process of building this gym, I actually got everything under control, and my health is the best it's been since I dropped to welterweight. I mean, we're talking 8 years, so it's amazing that everything's kind of like panned out perfectly as we built this thing.
Yeah, it's that Thailand lifestyle. Now, obviously, Mike, it has been quite a while since your last fight. Just wondering, during that process, did you ever have thoughts of retirement cross your mind? I mean, you were away for a few years. Did you ever possibly think in a part of your mind that, hey, maybe there won't be a comeback?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I never officially retired, but after that last fight, that was, like I said, the turning point in my career where I knew if my health didn't get better that I couldn't do this. I just couldn't eat the food I need and get the recovery that I needed to compete at that level and feel good. And so I literally took it completely out of my mind. I completely assumed I wasn't going to fight. I accepted it, and I just continued to build this gym and develop fighters and train fighters, and it was just a great process because during, I found my health and I figured out how to basically fix my health without taking all the medications that they were having me on, and I'm literally the healthiest I've been, maybe my whole UFC career. And so now I get the opportunity, perfect timing, to be able to do this camp out of this gym that I built here. And me and my business partner, Blair, we worked really hard to build what I envision as kind of like the perfect gym and have everything here that you need. And it's amazing. I'm so pumped up to be actually here and training and utilizing what we built to prepare for a huge card and a huge fight.
Yeah, I think the first time we spoke to you, Mike, was about a year ago, and since then we've seen that gym evolve, and it's really cool seeing those photos. And you're a lucky guy. Obviously, you were really sick for years, and now in the end you feel better, and you've got a really awesome gym to train at, and you live in a paradise. But you battled this illness for years. It was to do with your esophagus. Tell us, how did you decide that it was time to return? Did the doctor give you an all clear, or did you just feel that your body was ready?
Yeah, I went to Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills. It's an amazing doctor, and they finally diagnosed exactly what was wrong and gave me the medicine I needed to fix it. And so I fixed the problem as far as my health quite a while back, and then it was just a process of getting off the medicines and functioning on my own and healing up all the nagging injuries and just giving my body a break and just getting through training, not fight camp training, but just helping train other guys. And it was the break I needed, and my body just got completely rejuvenated. It feels great, along with my health. Obviously, I've weaned myself off the medicine, so I'm walking around 195 pounds and eating good, and I don't have that stress and burden of the medical illness and pressure and all that, so it's just great. And now I have a chance to come back and fight healthy, and this fight's for me. This fight's to go out there and have fun and just enjoy the opportunity and leave it all out there. It's not about gaining a title shot or keeping a rank or a paycheck or anything like that. It's to go out there, given this opportunity, given this chance to go back in there and go out there and have fun and enjoy what I spent my whole life getting to, the UFC. Go out there and actually enjoy it and have fun and fight and leave everything out there.
Absolutely. And it's going to be exciting to see you do that, Mike, because obviously a lot of fighters sometimes lose their passion for the sport and just find themselves doing it for alternative reasons. Now, I remember you did make that brief comeback, with, like you mentioned, for the Fox fights. And initially you felt better. You mentioned that your health was better, and that's why you decided to return. Compare your body now to back then when you first made that initial comeback. What's the big difference there?
There's no comparison. I mean, I had situations where so I was on medication at that time, which did help my body, and it actually helped in the beginning, even though I wasn't very big. The problem was when I weaned myself off the medicines during fight camp, it came back. And so I prematurely announced that my health was great, even though it technically was better because I was relying on these medications. And when I took them out to be able to train proper and get that out of my system and just focus on training, it went back. So now here I am in fight camp getting ready for fights, and then I'm having the same issues. And so I shrunk down, and for both of those fights, I was weighing basically 170 pounds fight day, or weigh-in day.
Wow.
I didn't have to cut any weight, and I was just real depleted. So the first fight was was a great ending. The ending was awesome. It was a great knockout or whatever, but the fight itself was horrible. Both of those fights. If you look at the actual fight and my performance during those fights, whether I won or not, it wasn't good performances, and I definitely want to fix that. I want to come back and show that wasn't me, and it was me. It wasn't not me, but it was a me that I feel is not here anymore, and I feel like I can go out there and perform better and have a good time and just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Since you being on The Ultimate Fighter, you've obviously had some transitions. You were there as a light heavyweight, and you fought at middleweight, and then eventually down to welterweight. When you spoke to you last time, you mentioned how welterweight was not your natural weight class, and how the only reason why you competed there was because your body was so depleted. Now you say your body's feeling better. Alex Garcia, obviously, though, is a welterweight. So it looks like you're coming back to welterweight. Why is that? Why not middleweight?
I could have fought middleweight for this fight. I'm choosing to fight welterweight because I'm training really hard, and I know I'm gonna lose a little bit of weight during this fight camp. The emphasis is going to be on cardio and conditioning for this. A big reason being that I am fighting a guy like Alex Garcia. I think that's part of our strategy to make sure that I'm in ridiculous shape to where I can keep a fast, high pressure fight right from the start and make that last throughout the entire fight if need be. So I'm gonna drop a little bit of weight because of the camp and the training that I'm doing here. So it's just going to be a bigger cut, and I'll be a bigger fighter versus just fighting kind of at my weight and being a middleweight and being small. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be the same size as these last two fights. I'm a lot bigger now.
Certainly right. Now, obviously, it's been a while since you've stepped in the cage. We imagine that training must be exciting to get back into training camp. Tell us, how are you going to combat the dreaded ring rust that fighters have to deal with after being away from the cage for so long? We train hard and I spar hard, so it's like fighting, and I've never really had to deal with it. I don't attribute the DeMarcus fight performance to ring rust. I felt fine. As far as that goes, it was just the body not being able to do what I wanted it to at the level. It wasn't fast enough. It wasn't strong enough. That was the issue. My head's always been pretty clear for fights. So I'm not saying there won't be ring rust. There's no way to know until you get out there. But the confidence is definitely there that I haven't had in a long time because of my medical situation. So there's going to be a lot going into this fight that I haven't had in a long time. And I think that will hopefully even out any ring rust or fight stress that I might have.
Yeah, I think it's something about AKA guys. We never seem to see any ring rust in any of the AKA crew. Hey, seeing as you'll be staying at welterweight and your last loss came to Matt Brown, this leaves an opportunity for a rematch. You mentioned to us last time how obviously you didn't feel ready for that fight and you shouldn't have returned. Would you be interested in a rematch with Brown and to show your true potential?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, man. Sorry, I was by here.
That's all right.
Yeah, definitely. I'm at the gym right now, so there's people coming up, and so I was trying to let them know I was on an interview.
Sure.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I would definitely like to rematch all my losses except Okami. He's too big, but
yeah.
And he's a wrestler. I don't want to get grappled again, but no, I would definitely like to get rematches with all those guys. I mean, Dan Hardy, Matt Brown. I mean, those will always be an interest. if the opportunity comes. Right now, I'm focused on this fight. I'm focused on this fight camp and going out there and performing and just having a great fight on July 11th.
Yeah, certainly a rematch against any of those would be very exciting. Now, obviously, it's been a while since you fought, and the welterweight division is certainly not the same as it once was. GSP is now gone, and it looks like the title may move around quite a bit. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the welterweight division, Mike. What do you think about it currently?
Man, it's a great division. It's one of the best in the sport. Again, that's one thing that's great about this fight is there's no pressure and there's no stress of ranking or title shots or any of that. I'm going out there to have fun and have a great fight and leave it all out there. So I'm not concerned with rematches. I'm not concerned with title shots or anything like that. This is literally just about this fight and Alex Garcia and go out there and see what I can do and how it goes. So I don't want to focus on anything else at this time.
Sure. Speaking of the division and what sort of Dennis touched on with the sport evolving and the division evolving, when you were there, obviously GSP was the champion, and now you got guys like Tyron Woodley and Kelvin Gastelum and Carlos Condor's really come up. With all that happening and you being a fighter for pretty much most of your life, was it hard for you to be on the sidelines for so long and not be able to be part of that action?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you always want to fight. What kind of eased that, especially in the beginning as I was pursuing this project, was the performances I had at UFC on Fox 4 and 5. I mean, it was clear that at that time, under those conditions, that I should be done fighting, and I accepted that. And I always knew there was a chance something could happen and I could turn this around and get myself back again. But I definitely at that time accepted that was going to be it, and that I could walk away and not have any regrets, and just move on if that's the case, if that's the thing that I had to do. And like I said, it wasn't predicted, but it was just, amazing that things worked out the way they did. And over this last year and a half, I've really been able to regain my health and my body's gotten so much better, and it's just kind of worked out for this reason. So, I'm very gratified that I have this opportunity and I can come back and have a fight now.
Certainly. Now, Mike, you're a part of a very, very special group, the original Ultimate Fighter cast. And I mean, there's always a soft spot in most MMA fans' hearts for most of the guys from Tough. I just wanted to get your opinion on one of the members of Tough, Josh Koscheck. Now, he's had a bit of a rough run lately. There's been a string of losses. And just wanted to get your opinion. Have you had a chance to watch any of Josh's fights? And what do you think about Josh continuing to fight? Do you think maybe it might be time for him to call it a day?
I think it's up to him. I mean, he definitely brought the fight to Eric Silva and was going out there to fight. He pushed the pace a lot more than the previous fight. It's up to him. I mean, it's hard for me to judge people and say what they should do. So, I wish the best for him, and hopefully he makes the right decision regardless.
Yeah, for sure. While we're on the topic of Ultimate Fighter 1, we had Chris Lieben on the show actually last week, and we spoke about Chuck Mindenhall's great article on Jason Thacker's life after the show. Just wondering if you got a chance to read it, and what did you think of the turmoil that he's had to deal with in the aftermath of the show?
Yeah, I just got a chance to read it. It's crazy, yeah. Very good article, and it caught me by surprise. I had no idea. Most of everything in that article, I had no idea. It's crazy. I definitely wish the best for him, and I had no idea that the show affected him in that way, and he was being treated like that. So I see that they're doing like an account to raise money for him, and people are really getting behind him. I think that's great. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it was a GoFundMe, and I believe they closed it. It was $13,000. They raised everything they needed. I believe Chuck Mindenhall was the one who opened it. With that article, I think a lot of people, it really blew people's minds. Obviously, most of us fans, we weren't in the Ultimate Fighter house, but you were. When you read that, did you get any of that kind of impression when you were in the house with him? Did you get that vibe from Jason Thacker at all?
I don't know. I mean, there's obviously things that you could tell he wasn't a high caliber fighter, obviously, but we didn't know why he was on there. I mean, maybe there's a lot of unknowns. Everyone was there. Everyone was trying to get a contract in the UFC and be the best fighter they could. That was the number one priority for everyone. On the side, we dabbled in each other's lives and tried to figure each other out. But he was a pretty closed book. We didn't know. We didn't expect that he was going to be a high level from obviously the training. but we didn't know what brought him there and what his story was, and you know.
Yeah, no, certainly right. It was very, very big part of MMA history for all the fans. And it was so much fun watching it back in the day. Now, let's go forward to your opponent, Alex Garcia. He's definitely a tough dude. He fights out of TriStar. He's had a couple of wins in the UFC so far. What do you see as your biggest advantage over him in this matchup, Mike?
I think speed is going to be my main advantage over him, as well as my reach, and then athleticism in this fight. I think the conditioning and cardio to be able to push that high level pace right from the start. I think that's going to be the advantage.
You know, before we do the submission radio tap out round with you, Mike, which is of course a staple of all interviews, I just want to get an update. You know, as far as this gym, we've been talking about it throughout the whole interview. Like you said, it's like training in any other gym, but like in paradise. Any new updates on it, and also who are some fighters that we need to keep our eye on in the future, especially possibly fighting down here in Australia?
Yeah, we have Soa Palili is our team captain, UFC fighter from Australia. He lives in Australia.
Yeah.
And then we have Wan Zai, Chinese fighter who's also in the UFC. We have Jeff Wang, who's a ONE FC fighter. A lot of guys that are up and coming. I mean, a lot of guys. There's so much talent coming through here. All these guys from all over this region. You know, we got guys from Australia and England, Tajikistan, Dagestan, Chechnya, France, all over, and they bring so much talent in their respective fields, and it's great. It's great having that mesh of all these great guys training together and feeding off each other and improving each other's game.
Now, Mike, we're going to do what Casper just mentioned. It's called the Submission Radio Tap Out Round. You've done it with us a few times. We throw a bunch of fun questions at you, and you answer with the first thing that comes to mind. It's been voted as the best ever segment that's ever been done in MMA radio ever. So
all true.
You should, and those are, there's no need to reference where that came from. So we're going to kick it off for you, Mike. Give us your favorite Thai meal to grab when out in the restaurants in Phuket.
My favorite Thai meal?
Yeah.
Cashew chicken. At the Contender Cafe on site at AKA Thailand.
oh, wow. There you go. What a plug.
It really is, though. I mean, cashew chicken is amazing here.
And you're lucky that your favorite place to eat is right next to your gym.
What a coincidence, huh?
It's almost like you might own it or something, do you?
Crazy. It's crazy. But it honestly is great food. Anyone that comes there, I promise you guys come through here, and I will give you the best meal that you've ever had in Thailand.
We'll be on your doorstep tomorrow, Mike, so careful when you invite us. Mike,
all right, man.
Obviously, you're in paradise. What's your favorite thing to do when with your teammates to relax in Thailand?
Honestly, just chilling on the beach. We'll take boats out to an island. There's a lot of islands right off the coast of Phuket, so we can take the boats to any number of islands and just chill. There's like good snorkeling and diving, and it's just nice to get away and to have that peace, you know, not cars, not planes, not people, just water and rocks and beach. So I think that's one of the most relaxing things that we do when we can.
Now, Mike, you have to give us the lowdown. We were talking to Soa Paleli, and he's told us a couple of times that because of the humidity in Thailand, it's easy to cut weight. Is there any truth to that?
I haven't cut weight here. It is hot. I would think... I think you're sweating more on a daily basis, but I don't know. And I mean, if you're in a sauna anyway, it definitely isn't as hot as a sauna. So, but definitely in your overall workout, you're probably cutting more weight. Yes, I would say that's true.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be like halfway to a sauna there with the humidity. You know, Mike, tell the listeners, what is this Songkran War, and isn't it true you guys got hit pretty good for most of it from what we've seen?
Yeah, so Songkran is a festival here in Thailand that happens annually, and during the Songkran, every single person in the entire country has a water fight. So if you walk outside, you are going to get bombarded from water guns, water cannons, bits of water, bottles of water, virtually anything. You're going to get drenched. So the whole world knows, or well, not the whole world, but everyone here in Thailand knows. So when you're here, it's a good idea to stay inside or just go outside and enjoy the festivities. And that's what we did. We went out and kind of enjoyed the festivities. And this year, instead of getting bombarded and killed everywhere we go, we decided to take the truck with windows and try to be a little more strategic and not get as soaked.
Yeah, well, we were watching the videos, and guys, you have to check them out. They're on the AKA Thailand YouTube page. Some great stuff there. And you guys are doing a few sneaky drive-bys there. There are a few of cheap shots, if we may say so ourselves. Tell us, what was the funniest situation that you guys got someone good during the big war?
Yeah, we had so much footage. I mean, we did that for like a couple hours between training sessions. So we nailed so many people doing drive-bys with our water guns. But it was hard to figure out which ones we should keep in the video or not. But yeah, I mean, we played dirty. We were the bad guys. I'll admit it. But it was fun and it was entertaining. I mean, you'll watch a lot of Songkran videos where like it's boring and like they go out and they just shoot each other. It's like so much better when you're driving around in a truck playing dirty.
That's awesome. Taking it to the next level. Mike, tell us about this thug monkey that robbed you of your water.
Yeah, so not too far from AKA Thailand, there's this big hill that goes into the jungle, and there's hundreds and hundreds of monkeys everywhere. So when you drive up there and you get out, you're just surrounded by wild monkeys. And we were just hanging out, and they kept trying to get my water, so I was going to give him a little water. And as I was giving him water, he got greedy, decided to take a swing at me. And, you know, I luckily moved out of the way, and he didn't get much, and then he grabbed my bottle and thug-lifed me. It was epic. It was epic that he picked the bottle up and was drinking the water as he was running away. I don't know how that panned out that way, but it was hilarious. It was hilarious at the time, even though we had it on video. And it was definitely funny in the video, obviously, as you've seen the views.
Yeah, that monkey's like from straight out of Compton or something. Now, we're going to ask for a few predictions from you, Mike. So we want your honest opinion. The first one, Khabib versus Cowboy Cerrone. Who wins that one?
Are you serious?
Well,
Khabib is my boy, and he is awesome. He's gonna win that fight, and then he's gonna beat Dos Anjos again, and he's gonna be the champion in 2015.
There you go. Heard it here first. You tweeted out, it's hard to go against Jose Aldo, but Conor McGregor, or at Notorious MMA, keeps saying he's going to do it. Hard not to believe the guy. Hashtag going to be good. Hashtag UFC Rio. What's your prediction for the fight?
Jose Aldo McGregor. Well, here's the thing. Jose Aldo is one of my favorite fighters. I love his style. I train with those guys down in Brazil, and the whole team. We got Marlon Sandro coming here in a couple of weeks with Leo Santos. It's a great team, and I think he's my favorite to win. But if Conor McGregor can do it, hats off to him. You know, and I definitely am a big fan of Conor McGregor as well. You know, he does the talk, and you know, he builds the hype, but he is a good fighter. And I've grown to definitely become a fan of his from his fighting style. So I think overall I give the edge to Jose Aldo just because of his experience and his style. But Conor McGregor has been on a tear, and he's destroying everyone. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did do it. So I'm just looking forward to the fight. My fight will be out of the way. I'm going to be hopefully clear from the back, and I'm going to be out there sitting there with everybody else watching that fight.
Nice.
Oh, man, that's going to be an awesome moment. Now, finally, the most important prediction, Mike. Give us your official prediction. How will you beat Alex Garcia at UFC 189?
Oh, man, by knockout. That's how I predict every fight.
We have to, what round? First round? Second round?
First round.
First round
knockout. That's what I go for. So that's what I hope to happen, and that's what my style is going to be geared towards. So, yeah, let's hope that happens. that's the goal.
Well, you've said it now. It has to happen. Hopefully, UFC 189, July 11th, I believe here, because of the time difference in Australia, will be July 12th. Vintage Mike Quick Swick will be returning. Don't forget to follow Mike on Twitter at @officialswick. And, of course, make sure to travel and check out AKA Thailand at akathailand.com or at AKA Thailand. Mike, as always, pleasure chatting to you. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Sorry it was a little distracting here at the gym, but I appreciate you guys having me on, man, and I love your show.